you wonderful people out there. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy, and thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear and listening into another video. I've been thinking about the NX for quite a while. I mean, maybe I haven't been talking so much about it because, let's be frank, there have been a lot of people talking about the NX. And I personally have just kind of strayed away from that. I mean, not necessarily because I don't want to know more about the NX or not because I'm not interested in the NX. I just felt like a lot of people who, Nintendo enthusiast type people and people who generally dislike Nintendo, have been all over this NX coverage for some reason. And I mean, outside of two videos I've done on my channel, I don't really think anything I've done really is pertaining to the NX outside of this video now, which you guys are going to be listening to maybe a day or two after I've recorded it. Now, there are some things I've been thinking about, some stuff I was kind of interested in seeing if these things would fit into the whole NX thing. Now, the way I've thought about things comes from the standpoint of the NX actually being a hybrid console, which is a hybrid of the handheld and the home console market, which to me that would be an amazing thing, and I know that would be amazing to a lot of people, but it would also be kind of costly. That's another thing we have to think of. It would be kind of costly. But yeah, everything I've thought of so far would be barring in mind that this would be a home console hybrid and not just like a streaming box that you just set up next to like your Wii U or your 3DS. Because that is another possibility. That is another possibility. Heck, there's also the possibility of the NX literally being a latch-on device for the Wii U. We don't know. It just depends on what they go with. My mind is, I'm thinking it's possibly going to be a whole other home console slash handheld device, which is what I would really love it to be. But this is just speculation. Speculation. This is not me saying that these things are happening. This is just some things I think may happen and some things I would like to see happen. So, for anyone who might like take this video and run with it, I'm saying this again. There is nothing, literally nothing. There are no sources to this, what I'm going to say. This isn't information. This is someone's musings and thoughts. Just in case, because I know how people get. So, just in case. Okay. Firstly, I'd like to bring up, and I think I said this on the last Shadowcast too, on Shadow Fox Infinite's channel. Gotta stop mixing my words up there. I'd like to see multiple pricing options for games. Now, this would be like if your handheld, if this is a hybrid device and they're selling the handheld separately, after you've gotten your handheld, you purchase the retail handheld game, like the physical copy, $39.99, $40. For retailed handheld and home console, bump it up $20, $59.99 for retail for the handheld and the home console if you buy the complete kit. And say you bought the handheld and want to later upgrade to the home console, but you didn't buy that version of the game. Well, $24, $24.99 will give you the home console version of the game. Now, these aren't necessarily must-have price points, because obviously not every game that Nintendo puts out is going to be $40 for the handheld and $60 for the home console. So there's going to be some varying prices. And especially for upgrading, because if they put out a game that's going to be like, $25 on the handheld new and then $45 on the home console new, I wouldn't expect you to pay $25 to upgrade that game. Maybe like $15 to upgrade that one. It's just, heck, that doesn't sound right because then you'd be paying less. You know what I'm talking about. I should have said I should have said like 25 for it on the handheld and 35 for it brand new home. Again, these are just examples. There's nothing saying that this is going to happen. Uh, and then pay 15 to upgrade because you're paying that extra 5 since you didn't purchase the version that was already set up like that. Uh, Again, that's just a possibility. I'm not saying it's a set in stone thing. I'm going to keep repeating that for a while. I also don't think that home console games should just be prettier versions of handheld games. I mean, depends on the game. Because if it's like a fighting game, then I don't expect much to change. If it's like a fighting game, but if it's like something like maybe like an RPG, I don't want the game to just get prettier, and then you don't have the bleh. I don't want the game to just be prettier, and that's all there is to it. Like you should get some expanded stuff, like some extra dungeons and things that can still be played on the handheld with the lower resolution, but you don't get these things unless you buy the handheld and home console version. If you're understanding what I'm saying, which will probably make more people buy the version with the home console combination anyway, because they'd be like, well, I'm going to get more for it. I mean, it doesn't have to be every game, but just like certain types of games, this would be useful for, just to get additional content and features that's only really available on the console, because without the console, there are certain things the handheld just can't do. If you're understanding where I'm going with that. Um, I would say also that the handheld should be about the size of the PS Vita. It doesn't have to be exactly the same size, but around the size of the PS Vita, because it's not like that's a tiny screen. Like it's not as big as the Wii U gamepad, but it's a decent size. Um, and the screen resolution I could see for it to be 960 by 540, which is 540p for those who aren't really paying attention, because that's a decent screen resolution. That's better than what the Wii U gamepad gives us, which is was 854 by 480 or is it 853 by 480? One of the two. It's negligible. It's like it doesn't make much of a difference. But yeah, and give all of the gamepad features as well as the love of remote play that the Vita apparently has, which it doesn't really get much love, I guess. But give people remote play access, but to actually have all of the buttons that are available. That way you can run, more or less, when you get the home console version of the game, it's running on your console and you're playing it remotely on your handheld. That will give you the additional stuff if you're doing it that way. Um, wow, I lost my train of thought for a second. But it really would just be like the Vita and the gamepad mashed together as an asset for the console. So that would be pretty cool. And I'd love to see people being able to have up to 4 of them connected to one console at a time, as well as like 4 separate controllers, like the Wii U Pro controller. Uh, another That was just an example. Another thing I would think would they shouldn't push the console's maximum resolution above 2560 by 1440, which is 1440p. I think that's also think that's otherwise seen as 2K. Don't quote me on that. I don't know per se. I'm not exactly looking into it, but look, consoles are having trouble getting 1080p right now. But people are going to be like, well, I want the next big thing, and 1440 would be above 1080, but it wouldn't be shooting for that 4K gap. It's still going to be a bit more than what the Xbox One and PS4 would be doing in comparison, and it will hopefully be a guideline for whatever Sony and Microsoft are doing next afterwards to not shoot for that 4K, because they're likely not going to be able to do very well for that. Uh, I would also like to see backwards compatibility with Wii U games and 3DS games, but digitally for the Wii U games. Like, say you have a physical copy of a Wii U game, and it's a disc. But all the games that you play are logged onto your Nintendo account, your account with Nintendo. So you should be able to digitally download a version of that Wii U game for this console, and to get your 3DS games to be able to play is, well, I don't know if that would necessarily work. I mean, it would probably work with 3DS games if you're playing at home, but it might not work on the go because I don't know if the handheld's going to have two screens or not. It might not. So that's a possibility. It might just be a single screen device again. So we'll see. But backwards compatibility with Wii U and 3DS games, being able to like place the 3DS games in the cart slot, which would be similar shape to that of whatever NX has, which was another point I meant to make, and I did my points backwards. Uh, Flash cartridges that work both on the handheld and the home console. I know it might cost a slight bit more, but you get durability. Uh, hand, oh, Cartridges will also be easier to write to for updates and things like that. Instead of the data on the disk being static, you can now overwrite the data with the update, so that it doesn't have to hit the data on the disk and then check to see if there's something else that should be in place of it, which will actually probably speed things up a little bit. Um, Also, I'd love to see Virtual Console get online. I, and that bugs me that there isn't for what the Wii U is, because when I look at what Nintendo's doing with the original Pokemon games on the 3DS, that kind of tells me there's a possibility to put in online play for these games through the network. I mean, there's probably a lot of work that has to go into it, but I think it can be done. And I'm pretty. I mean, emulators that are way older than these two devices can do it, so they should be able to do it pretty well. I mean, on crappy computers can run old emulators that can run NES games and SNES games, and you can play online with other people. You can play through a network of other people. You just have to directly connect to them, which would be perfectly fine. I mean, it's something that I think Nintendo should definitely look into. Uh, Another thing I would love to see change would be, one, change Wii U Chat's name to Nintendo Chat and make it a system app rather than having it launch like a game. Like, you know how Miiverse is a system application, you can stop your Wii U or your 3DS and jump into Miiverse and make a post about the game you're playing, and it'll automatically take you to that game and that community for that game. Wii U Chat should be able to do something similar, or Nintendo Chat, as I just said it should be. It should be able to do something very similar. And seeing as it was developed by the same people who've developed Google Hangouts, not saying Google Hangouts is perfect, but they should be able to do something similar to Google Hangouts, like having like up to 10 people chatting in one session, being able to talk back and forth with each other. And the voice functionality of Nintendo Chat should be available to those who want to use it during gameplay. I mean, it should default be off. By default, it should be off. But you should be able to communicate with like your friends who might be playing at the same time as you. It'd be a nice option to have. Sorry about that. Throat dried out a little bit. Another thing I'd like to add would be for the console to be the first to have YouTube gaming live streaming available on it. Firstly, one, to be able to record videos directly to your console or to an external storage device for a later upload. Um, Also have like an on console video editor, not something really heavy, not something like as good as like Sony, I think it's Vegas or Camtasia and all that stuff. Just something light, like something a little bit better than maybe what Windows Movie Maker does. Not a whole lot of stuff, just like you can throw in a couple little effects here and there. You can cut clips and things like that. Just little stuff, not anything extremely big. Um, and you should also be able to save your recorded files as either an AVI or an MP4 format. AVI, I like AVI because the file sizes are smaller, but MP4 I think that that's a little bit more secure as a format, so that's why I chose the two of those. But I said live streaming, and I kind of just jumped to the recording. But yes, actual live streaming using YouTube Gaming as its live streaming app. Which, I mean, Nintendo's kind of close to YouTube and Google, so it would make sense for them to use that instead of jumping over to Twitch. Like, just use YouTube Gaming live streaming. Just have that be their stream client, which would be cool. It'd be nice. Obviously, you'd have to have a YouTube account, but I mean, how many people don't nowadays? Like, a lot of people have Google accounts, so you pretty much automatically get a YouTube account with that. I'd also love to see like a highly improved version of their internet browser. Like, the browser is great as it is right now, but it can be better. Now, I know some people might think this is a little bit of a step backwards, but include Flash. Like, include a Flash plugin as well as HTML5 and Unity Player plugins. Gosh, I hate when I get tongue-tied like that. Now, the reason I'm saying to add back in Flash players is because there were games that were Flash-based that were made to be played in the internet browser for the Wii, and you can't really play those games on the Wii U's internet browser. And HTML5 is like a really good, lightweight plugin that's starting to make major leaps, and a lot of people are using it for stuff online, for videos and for like games similar to Flash games. So that would be cool to keep those. And I think expanding the relationship that Nintendo has with Unity and getting the Unity plugin player will also be a great idea, because there are actually some Unity games that play in browsers that you can use a gamepad on, and that would be a great function to take advantage of, since you'd have your gamepad and you have your screen built right into it, and then you can play it like on your home console. You can play it too. Like, there are a couple games that I play that I use Facebook to do, and I have to do this on Firefox because stupid Google decided to drop freaking Unity plugins from Chrome. But I like to play Dead Trigger 2, and you guys have seen me play it before, but I also play Shadowgun Dead Zone a lot on using the online Unity player. They did have a standalone version, but they killed that for some reason. But it would be a cool idea, because those aren't the only ones, and there are a lot of them that are really good, like fun, just play anytime type games that having the Unity player in the browser and they detect controllers and such, it will work out pretty well. So I mean, obviously they'd have to find a way to partner with Unity to get the codecs out there so that people could update their games to have the codecs that would allow for like whatever controller Nintendo has to be used with it, but it still would be a great idea. I mean, why not? Excuse me, why not? Sorry, belch there after drinking water. Oh man, and I would also love for like Nintendo chat to be able to be open and take up like a little bit of space while you're using your internet browser, which would actually be pretty fun. So, like, say I decided to, like my example of playing Shadowgun Dead Zone online, and I'm just casually talking with other people who are playing on their consoles. And now you've added functionality to a game that didn't have that type of functionality. It now has voice chat and it has video chat at the same time while you're playing the game. I know this would be a lot of work. I'm not saying it would be super simple, but I'm also of the belief that they're not putting this console out until like November 2017. So what I'm saying makes sense in my mind. Uh, another thing, oh my gosh, another thing that I really want Nintendo to do is jump out with a bunch of their own content at launch and not wait for other developers to drop a bunch of stuff. I mean, keep your eye on your indies and be like, hey, look, any of you guys that have a really big game that you're making coming up. Example being Freedom Planet 2. We would like that to be on the NX. And yeah, get a bunch of those more popular indie branded games out there. And even dig into some of the indies that use Unity, since you guys have like that relationship. That I I feel like that's been a waste. Like they haven't hit everything that they can with that. But here's just a short list of stuff that I thought of that would be cool for the next home platform that Nintendo's putting out. And yes, there are some remasters. It's okay though. Um, I would love to see a Skyward Sword HD remake come out. Um, a new 3D Super Mario game to go along with the launch of the console. Super Metroid HD remake, because people have been like begging for that forever, so that wouldn't be a bad idea. Nintendo Land 2 with online multiplayer. Fire Emblem Warriors is another game that fans have been like clamoring for since Hyrule Warriors has happened. The Wonderful 102, get platinum on that because the Wonderful 101 is amazing despite the reviews. That game is amazing. It's just that the reviewers thought it was too hard and they got their feelings hurt because the game actually expected them to think. Um, rebrand the Wii Fit series into Nintendo Fit. Keep your balance board and all that stuff. Bring out new exercises and stuff, but rebrand it from Wii Fit to drop the Wii. Drop the drop the Wii name in general. Just drop it. A new Kirby game in the style of the Kirby Superstar or Kirby Superstar Ultra. Those were fun. Those are amazingly fun. Like if somebody tells you that they're not, they're lying. That's how I see it. Nintendo Party, which would be a Wii Party series replacement. Pikmin 4, if it doesn't come out on the Wii U, but I think it pretty much is about to come out on the Wii U. SNES Remix, which is something I think should have happened by now, which I'm surprised it hasn't. Maybe it is. Maybe they're working on it. A new Donkey Kong Country game, further beyond Tropical Freeze. Maybe, hopefully, one done in the style of Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong Country 64. Like that would be cool. Like a follow up to that particular game, that'd be awesome. Another Endless Ocean game. Like I think that series is kind of underrated. Those games actually, at least from the first one, like I haven't played the second one. My wife played the hell out the first one. Like it's interesting. It is something that it's something to keep your mind going. It would be pretty cool. An F-Zero game, because I don't know if we're going to get one on the Wii U. So F-Zero game at the launch of the NX be a great opportunity. Because people will be hyped up for the console and want a bunch of different games and stuff. So yeah, it would be a good idea. Another Punch Out game, because that's something else I'm not sure we're gonna get in the Wii U. It might possibly happen. I'm not talking about the Punch Out that came out for the Wii that they re-released on the Virtual Console for the Wii U. I'm talking about an actual follow up to that game. And the Mario and Sonic crossover adventure game that a lot of people have been begging for over the years, and I actually did. That was my first episode of Game Idea Foundry, and I was so awkward during the episode, but I did pretty well after I got kind of comfortable and in the shoes of hosting. So I don't want this game done by a Sega studio. It has to be done by a Nintendo studio. Hopefully, like Retro somebody, because I think they could do it justice. They could do it really good justice. Either Retro or maybe Nintendo EAD. I think EAD does the Mario games. Do they do the Mario games? I'm overthinking it. Now, I know this is something that some people will probably question me on, but Nintendo should fund port houses for bringing over third party games. Not pay third parties to put their games on the consoles, but to have port houses that are already familiar with the hardware that can take third party games and bring them to the console so that third parties don't have a reason to say, oh, this game isn't getting put on this console because such and such bullshit reasons. It's that way it doesn't happen. Good place to start, I think, would be Tantalus because they've done some pretty good jobs on ports of games that have gone to Wii U. At least that's just my thought. Don't don't kill me for that. The Blake, that's probably like the one thing I probably would probably catch flack for. Um, Another thing I would love to see done is for Nintendo to create a new Nintendo sports studio, or maybe even two of them that differentiate the type of sports games that they do. To just like make some sports games that use different Nintendo franchise characters, as well as like the classic type sports games like NBA Courtside, Wave Race, and 1080 Snowboarding. I'd love to see those come back all at once. And they could make a studio dedicated to that. It'd be cool. It'd be awesome as all hell. Um, Another thing I had thought of for Nintendo to create a Nintendo Visual Arts Studio, which I think they're already doing. I don't know what they're naming it, but I think that it's something that they're already working on. And that would be for creating like exclusive videos featuring Nintendo characters on a new entertainment app from Nintendo that could be called something along the lines of Nintendo Visual, which would be like Nintendo based animes or like 3D animations and stuff like that. Things like that I know Nintendo wants to do, but we haven't really seen much happen with. It'd be cool. It'd be interesting, and it would be something that they could have on their console as their own entertainment app, which would be pretty damn nice. It'd be like Nintendo Netflix. um, Another thing I would say is to partner with Sega and Capcom to bring back a lot of their defunct series that kind of deserve love that just don't get any. Bring back Streets of Rage. Bring back, give us another Burning Rangers game. Get Beautiful Joe back out there. Uh, Make a new Okami game. Not Okami. Onimusha. I've somehow mixed the two of those up. I don't know how I did. I guess they both just start with an O, so I was thinking that way. But another Okami game wouldn't be bad either. I mean, that'd be cool. Maybe a new God Hand. I mean, there's nothing saying that couldn't happen. Um, Dang it, there's so many other Sega IPs I'm trying to think of. Oh, Forgotten Worlds, wasn't that Capcom? I think Forgotten Worlds was also Capcom. Uh, hmm. Maybe maybe some more Alex Kidd games. A new Alex Kidd game wouldn't be a bad idea either. That'd be actually pretty cool. No, I'm just gonna stop trying to think of old Sega games because that list is just too damn long. Oh, another Shinobi. Another Shinobi would be great. That'd be amazing. I'd love another Shinobi game. Um, Man, yeah, that'd be cool. Bring more RPGs and finally a home console version of Pokemon, like a real home console version of Pokemon. Actually, the Reboot Gaming has done a podcast on that. I might just drop that link in the description because I wish I could have jumped in on that podcast, but that was a while ago. Like I just wasn't home when they were doing it, so I just couldn't get in on it. Like I would have loved to do that one, but I mean, it is what it is. I might be doing. I'm thinking through a video myself for a home console Pokemon game at the moment, so we'll see how it plays out. uh, Oh, bring back the ability to directly purchase games and send them to your friends as gifts. Now, being able to use the Nintendo online store and purchase the game code and then send it to somebody is cool and all. But if you have someone in your friends list, you should be able to purchase the game through the eShop and gift it to them. You should be able to do that. Like, I don't see why that's not happening, why that's not possible. That's something you should be able to do. It would be cool. Like, okay, your friend wants, say, they want Super Mario 3 for NES Virtual Console. Buy it, send it to them. Like, at the purchase options, purchase as gift. Purchase as gift for friend. Not too hard. Just put it in there. Put that in there. That should still be there. Also, you should be able to purchase, and this is another annoyance for the eShop. You should be able to purchase games for the handheld from the home console and games for the home console from the handheld. I don't know why they haven't done this. That's something Nintendo should be doing. Ugh. Makes me irritated with them. But yeah, I'd also love to see Miiverse become a bigger part of the OS. Like when you turn on the console, and I'm pretty sure Red Knight did this talked about this in a video himself for Active Gamer Life. When you turn on your console, not just see War War Plaza, but I would love them to keep that because that's actually a pretty cool concept. But turn Miiverse into like a universe type of thing, whereas one of your screens will see War War Plaza, and you can swipe that to the side, and then you'll just see like an open, expanded universe of stars and things like that, and you'll see like different things trending for different reasons, like most popular racing game, fighting games, stuff like that, like different categories of things, and you can see like top Miiverse posts for those things, as well as just like interact. Or if you have like the game on your console or the cart in your console, you can jump into the game from that expanded universe. If like you're just talking to somebody, like say you're talking to one of your friends online, and they decide to like, oh well, I'm about to play Smash. You want to jump on? I'm like, yeah, I should be able to just jump in the game with them from there. I shouldn't have to boot the game up, then try to find them. I should be able to go right to the game, right to their room if they've opened one. Or let's take another game like Splatoon. I'd love to see a sequel to Splatoon happening. I'm damn sure it is. But say one of my friends is playing online and they put a call out on Miiverse that they're looking for somebody to join in with them. I should be able to just click on that post as long as the game is either digitally on my console or it is in the console. I should be able to hop in that game with them and join their lobby. I shouldn't have to go through a bunch of different hoops to do something like that. The console should be smart enough to be able to do that. That's something that Nintendo is lacking on, and they need to be able, for for lack of better words, they need to do this for simpletons and smart people, but they really need to do it for simpletons because simpletons don't like to think. So, I know it sounds rude. I'm not meaning it in a rude manner, but there are a lot of people who don't want to think about doing these things. They just want the console to do it for them. So it wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, at least it's not from my standpoint. So, I sounded so rude right there. I know I sounded so horribly rude. But I couldn't. It can't be helped. If people want to act stupid, that's how they act. I can't really do much about that. Um, yeah. I don't know where my train of thought was going after that. But I just really, I think that's really about it because I mean, while yes, there are plenty of other things that I could point out that I would love to see happen with this. It would be just amazing if they could just do some of the stuff. I'm like, I would love, like, okay. When I talked about the Nintendo Sports Studio, I didn't really give examples of games. Um, I don't know how many people have seen the Unseen 64 video. I don't even remember which one it is now, But there was one they were talking about doing a volleyball game for Nintendo characters, but it included wrestling. I'd say separate those two concepts, turn one into a volleyball game, and turn the other into an actual Nintendo wrestling game where you could see Mario jump off the turnbuckle and do an elbow drop on like Link or Yoshi or somebody, or you can see Princess Peach throw someone through a brick wall that's just set up around the edges of the ring, and they'd be knocked out to ringside. Like that'd be funny and cool to me, even though I guess Nintendo doesn't want the violent stuff happening. But like y'all a little too late though. You've already got Smash Brothers out there. You got Link and various other peoples with swords stabbing and poking the hell out of people with these blades. I mean, yeah, they're not bleeding. Nobody said you had to add blood. And you can use cartoony physics like characters getting flattened like a pancake when somebody drops like a steamroller or something on them. It's something that they could do. That would be cool. They already got Mario Tennis. Oh, that kind of needs to be fixed for the Wii U. But I mean that's for the Wii U. They've got a lot of stuff that they could work with. So it'd be pretty cool. Oh, and I didn't think about this, but didn't even write this in. I meant to, but Nintendo should also have like a dedicated app on their on their new console or handheld or whatever to be able to just listen to music from their games. Like literally, it just plays songs like a radio station, just of their game music, orchestrated chip tune, all of that stuff, and then just plays it at random if you just want it to play, or you could select a specific game or a specific game series, and they'll play music from, like I said, that game or that series for you. Or you could set up your own playlists and stuff like that. That's something that a lot of people like the music in Nintendo games. I specifically love a lot of the Kirby music. I don't know what it is about Kirby's music. It does not fit the character, but it definitely fits the action in the games when you're playing them. So I think that'd actually be pretty cool because I would love to hear play the Meta Knight theme while I'm like just doing stuff in the house. Just have it blasting and and I've done that before on my computer. So you can call me geek or whatever the hell you want, but I've done it before and I feel no shame in saying it. It's something that they could do. It'd be pretty nice to have. I mean, that's not a must. That's why I said it's something I would like to see. It's not a must. And Nintendo is capable of doing it. They have very talented musicians that work for them. And a lot of their games have these amazing soundtracks. So why not? It'd be pretty. I mean, to me, that'd be nice. I definitely would love another Nintendo news type app, but I mean, you pretty much get that type of stuff in the eShop anyway now. So, I mean, it is what it is. But they should definitely consider it. And I don't know how I skipped this, but on-screen notifications for when you're playing, but with the ability to disable them for people who don't want to have them. I mean, don't make it automatic. Don't make it automatically be on. Let when you're setting up your device, let it be something that you enable. Like it'll ask you, do you want on-screen notifications? If you don't want them, no. Just click no. Do you want voice chat enabled? If you don't want it on, click no. That's or at that point it would be Nintendo Chat because it would be a system application instead of a thing built into every individual game. I mean, just there's a lot of things to think about. I mean, heck, I could have said with the Skyward Sword remake. Oops, brother's calling me. I will have to call him back. I could have said with the Skyward Sword remake, and I meant to say this: give the ability to play Zelda's side of the story, not just Link's. Whether you hop back and forth between the characters during gameplay, or after you beat the game the first time and you go back in and you put in Zelda's name, you actually play her side of the story. That'd be pretty cool. I'd love to see. I'd like to see things from her eyes through that game because we don't know exactly what she's going through throughout the whole story. So it'd be cool to have it there. Hell, Another thing that they could do, and I know this would be wildly popular, make a daggone Rosalina game for Super Rosalina something. People, people would buy it just because she's the main character. They wouldn't. It wouldn't even. That I have no question about that. It literally, because she's the main character, people would buy it. And obviously, they'd have to have a setup for Amiibo and all that stuff, but that's inherent at this point because Amiibo's doing so well. All right, I think I really am done this time, and this video is like got to be like 40 some odd minutes. So, thank you very much for listening. I know it was probably rather boring with the static screen there, but I really just wanted to get this done and out the way, and there was something that was interesting to me. Like, you guys can tell me your thoughts below. I'm not like going overboard and say, "Oh, this is going to happen. This is what Nintendo's doing." I would laugh though if a lot of what I've said is actually happening. But yeah, that's really it. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more of my stuff. And until the next time, please enjoy your games. And until then, have a nice day, Pete. Peace out.